In the third year of the Zhenxiang reign of the Great Yi Dynasty, there were internal and external troubles, and the lives of the lower-class people were as low as grass. Changkong crossed over and arrived, becoming a probationary member of the gang. Faced with the bullying of the room bullies, Changkong clenched his fist and launched a system simulation. In April of the third year of the Zhenxiang reign of the Great Yi Dynasty, in Jiangzhou, the Great Jiang Gang facing the bullying of room bullies, you are isolated and helpless. You can't be without a ruler for a day, and a great man cannot be without a father for a day. You have made up your mind to worship Zhenxiang, the leader of the Great Jiang Gang, as your adoptive father. One of the prerequisites for becoming the adopted son of Zhenxiang is to become a practitioner of blood martial arts. And you can start to devote yourself to cultivation on May 10th, the third year of the Zhenxiang reign. Due to a lack of nutrition, you failed to break through your blood training and went out to breathe. You were ambushed from behind and hit with a stick. Your consciousness is gradually disappearing as you lay dying. You heard someone whispering, "Vertical son, how dare you compete with me for my adoptive father?" You're dead at the end of the simulation. You can choose one of the following rewards as the simulation reward. Option 1. Obtain talent, optional. Option 2. Obtain elemental strength. Option 3. Gain insights. Choosing to acquire talent, you have obtained the white talent iron bone, which increases bone density by 3 times. Talent enhances base power, elemental power increases cultivation level, talent is enhanced and perception enhances the speed of cultivation. Iron bones, copper skin, golden body, divine body, Ji Hao, Ji Ying, and Shen Ji, Wu Jie, Wu Hao, Wu Ying, Wu Ji. With his talent and hard work, Changkong step by step reached the strongest. Keywords of the novel. My Simulated Adolescent Life without pop-ups. Download the complete collection of My Simulated Adolescent Life TXT, and read the latest chapter of My Simulated Adolescent Life. Chapter 1. Anger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Anger. In April of the third year of Zhenxiang, in Jiangzhou, the Great Jiang Gang. With the rooster breaking dawn, the sky turned white with fish bellies. To the west of the headquarters of the Great Jiang Gang, there is an old courtyard, which is the residence of the newly recruited reserve gang members. In a house on the west side of the courtyard, there are 2 rows of large bunks on the left and right, each with 8 people sleeping on top, and there are occasional snoring sounds. At this moment, the innermost black figure sleeping on the left bed moved. He was about 6 feet and 8 inches tall, with a bronze skin and an ordinary face. He only had a pair of thick black and straight eyebrows, pointing diagonally at his temples like 2 sharp swords. Changkong opened his heavy eyelids, and what caught his eye was an old and mottled wall, with green mold spots climbing over it. Through the mold spots, he could barely see that the original wall was gray-white. He took a deep breath of air. Well, the taste of salted fish is pungent. Changkong's tired brain couldn't help but shake up. He lifted the thin cotton quilt covering his body, and a damp and hot smell mixed with the smell of mold and salted fish rushed in, taking the smell in the room to the next level. Changkong frowned and fanned with his hand. We can't continue like this anymore. Living in such an environment every day will eventually lead to illness. Changkong thought silently. Who would have thought that as an ordinary college student, he would just stay up late every day during summer vacation to read novels, and then suddenly die and travel. Since Changkong traveled to this world, he slept on a big bunk, had a hard wooden bed, a moldy quilt, and only had a piece of meat or fat for meals. It can be said that Changkong's life suddenly fell from heaven to hell. Thinking of this, Changkong felt a pang of sadness. He regretted not indulging himself well on the crazy Thursday of the day before, and now he misses fried chicken and cola immensely. However, what pleased Changkong was that he traveled through a world where there were extraordinary beings. In this world, there were warriors, and the legendary first-level strong ones could move mountains and cut off rivers, equivalent to land immortals. And the Great Jiang Gang he is currently in is one of the 3 major gangs in Jiangzhou, with the leader being a powerful 7th-grade warrior. Thinking of this, Li Changkong couldn't help but feel a bit fascinated. If he can be promoted to the 9th level to practice blood martial arts, then he can leap into the middle level within the gang and become a superior person. And now he has received an opportunity. As a preparatory member of the Jiang Gang, the Jiang Gang has sent people to provide them with a 3-month introductory training, which is also the only opportunity for Li Changkong, a poor person, to be exposed to martial arts at this stage. However, the Jiang Gang is not engaged in charity, and there will be a selection and assessment after the end of the March period. At that time, each leader of the Jiang Gang will arrive at the assessment site for selection. Those who are not selected by the leader will be automatically assigned to the leading team. In the future, whenever the Jiang Gang engages in war with other forces, the vanguard must be the first to charge forward, and it is not an exaggeration to describe the vanguard's people as having a chance to die. Li Changkong is currently ranked first, but he is counting backwards. And with only 1 month left until the selection and assessment, it can be said that Li Changkong's future entry into the leading team is almost guaranteed. It really makes people feel a bit nervous. Li Changkong was both nervous and excited. The goal of selection and assessment can be said to be an impossible task for the original body before crossing over, but he is different. After crossing over, a panel appears in front of him. Yitzi Life Simulation System Name. Li Changkong Talent. None Yuan Li. None Reflection. None Realm. None Martial Arts. None Simulation. 90 out of 100. In the past 3 days after crossing over, Li Changkong conducted a series of experiments such as exercising, killing small animals, and eating. Finally, he found that in order to push the simulation progress bar, he needed to eat nutritious food. And today is the day when the Jiang Gang distributes zhuangti tang every week. Zhuangti tang is a medicinal soup distributed by the Jiang Gang to help reserve members quickly become combat ready. Taking it after exercise can help the body recover quickly. In addition, zhuangti tang can effectively improve the quality and quantity of qi and blood. The cultivation of qi and blood in the 9th level of martial arts is the power of qi and blood. Therefore, taking more zhuangti tang can increase the chance of entering the 9th level. Li Changkong can be certain that as long as he takes this bowl of body-strengthening soup, he will definitely be able to open his golden finger. Damn it, if I had taken all the previous body-strengthening soup. At the thought of this, a hint of gloom flashed on Li Changkong's face. According to the original memory, in the past 2 months since joining the Jiang Gang, a total of 8 bowls of body-strengthening soup have been distributed, all of which were snatched away by Hong Zongyuan in the dormitory and entered his stomach. If it weren't for the fact that Li Changkong was still a bit clever and always stole a drink on the way back, then Li Changkong's simulation progress bar wouldn't have made 90% progress. Moreover, it was not just the body-strengthening soup, but the damp and moldy quilt covering Li Changkong's body was originally owned by Hong Zongyuan. With his strong physique, he forcibly took away the quilt that belonged to Li Changkong. In addition, Li Changkong also needs to get up early every day to help Hong Zongyuan pour out his night pot, which is why Li Changkong gets up so early. Wait, I will definitely make you pay the price. A cold smile appeared on Li Changkong's face. He is not a person who swallows his pride, but at the moment, there is only a significant difference in strength. If given the opportunity in the future, he will avenge today 100 times more. Li Changkong put on his blue reserve gang uniform, picked up his night pot with one hand and Hong Zongyuan's night pot with the other. Looking at the sleeping figure in front of him, Li Changkong suppressed the desire to dump the filth from his night pot on him and turned his head towards the outside of the room. Accompanied by a low creaking sound, Li Changkong walked out of the door, poured the filth from the pot into the toilet, and cleaned it with a bucket of water from the nearby water tank. Dang 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 dang. This is the gathering gong for the school field. Within a burning incense time after the sound of the gong, all reserve gang members must dress neatly and gather on the school field to receive training from the head of the Jiang Gang. Upon hearing the sound of gongs, Changkong quickened his movements. Quickly, he cleaned the night pot in his hand and returned to the dormitory. Placing the night pot in his hand next to Yuan, Changkong was about to turn around and return to his bed. A big foot covered in black hair reached out in front of him, blocking his way. Changkong turned his head to prevent Yuan from seeing the haze in his eyes. "What's up?" he asked in a low voice. "It's nothing." Yuan lay lazily on the bed, his hands comfortably resting behind his head, and said nonchalantly. "Just to remind you, if you dare to steal from me again the body-strengthening soup distributed by the gang today, I will crush your bones one by one, understand?" Changkong suddenly gritted his back teeth, and a wave of anger surged in his heart. It was like bullying someone too much. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Revenge of the Gentleman. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Revenge of the Gentleman. In just a moment, Changkong had already calmed down. He only asked himself a question in his heart. If there is a conflict with Yuan now, can he defeat him? The answer is obvious, no. Yuan is 8 feet tall, with broad shoulders and thick waist, weighing at least 180 pounds. Due to his thick body hair, he looks like a big black bear from a distance. Changkong and he have a weight difference of at least nearly 100 pounds, and standing together is like an adult and a child, with a huge difference. Moreover, Professor de Jiangbang has already introduced Yuan to the Langdue fist for the preparatory gang members, and when it comes to actual combat, Changkong probably is not the enemy of Yuan's unity. Although the Jiang Gang does not allow its members to engage in private battles, it only prohibits physical disabilities. It is still possible for Yuan to make Changkong unable to participate in training normally. Got it. Changkong lowered his head and responded, silently walking back to his bed to sit down, this time without being stopped. Yuan sat up and opened his hand, while Lu Nang and Song Bing hurriedly picked up his clothes and put them on for him. "And you, from this time on, I'll have to hand over half of your body-strengthening soup to me." Yuan's bright voice echoed in the quiet room. Upon hearing this, everyone's faces changed greatly, and it took a while for someone to turn red. They stuttered and said, "Yuan, isn't that appropriate? You have strong abilities and are almost certain to pass the selection and assessment. We are different. We were supposed to slow down our cultivation progress by giving you a quarter, but if we give you half, we may not be able to pass the assessment. Joining the leading team would be a life of 9 deaths. Yeah, there are still 6 people in my family waiting for me to become an official helper and use regular money to support my family. Please, Yuan, you can't do this. Yuan, with so many people here, you can't offend everyone." Watching the crowd either complain, beg for mercy, or threaten. A contemptuous smile appeared on Yuan's face, which was covered in beards. "You have the freedom to choose, not afraid to tell you that I have connections in the blood-killing hall. As long as I enter the blood-killing hall, I will immediately become the vice-captain. If you give me half of the body-strengthening soup now, then you will be my brothers. When I become the vice-captain, I will naturally cover you up. If we don't make it, then we won't have any relationship. When we compete on the school field, our fists and feet don't grow our eyes. You need to think carefully. My words are finished. Who agrees? Who opposes?" Everyone fell silent upon hearing the words. The meaning behind Yuan's words was simple. Either choose to hand in half of the strong body soup to Yuan and gamble on his reputation, or choose to be cruelly eliminated by him during the school competition. If you don't speak, I'll assume you're okay. From now on, everyone will be good brothers." Yuan looked at the silent crowd with a proud smile on his face. "Damn it. Looking at Hong Zongyuan's arrogant expression, Li Chang couldn't help but feel a murderous intent in his hollow heart. If he can't even take a sip of the body-strengthening soup distributed today, there is no doubt that he will definitely not pass this selection and assessment. So he must drink this bowl of body-strengthening soup today. Even at the risk of being beaten to death by Hong Zongyuan. Li Changkong knew that even if he succumbed to Hong Zongyuan's lewd authority, it would only be a chronic death. If there is no body-strengthening soup, relying solely on the small amount of nutrition obtained through daily eating, he will only be able to open his golden finger after a long period of time. Without a golden finger, entering the leading team with his current strength can only be described in 4 words. 10 deaths without life. So there is only one option in front of him, which is to ignore Hong Zongyuan as a shaman, drink strong body soup and gamble, hoping that the golden finger can turn the situation around. Thinking of this, Li Changkong's gaze became resolute. He plans to make 2 preparations. If the opening of the golden finger can reverse the form, that would be best. If not, prepare a weapon in advance and fight to the death with Hong Zongyuan. His personality is like this: even if he dies, he will tear a piece of flesh from his enemy and never let it get better. Let's go. Seeing that everyone was well organized, Hong Zongyuan led the way, while the others consciously lined up and followed him towards the door. Li Changkong was directly behind the line. As soon as he left, the fresh air outside made Li Changkong feel refreshed. Following the team, the group walked along the flat bluestone road towards the schoolyard located in the south. Looking at it, although the small courtyards on both sides of Kingshiban Road are outdated, they are built in a very orderly manner, with uniform white walls and black tiles. From time to time, teams of reserve members of the Jiang Gang wearing blue uniforms walked out of the courtyard and joined the main army. Suddenly, a light wind blew, and the bamboo eaves hanging under the eaves emitted crisp and pleasant sounds. Although not as beautiful as the legendary hanging jade eaves, they also had a fresh and elegant taste. Quickly, the bluestone path of the reserve courtyard reached its end, and everyone turned a corner. Without the shelter of the walls, a winding and beautiful mountain peak appeared in the distance. From a distance, a thin mist envelopes the mountain peak like a veil, adding a touch of mystery to it. This is Kwangshan, from which you can overlook the entire city of Jiangzhou. Continuing forward for a few hundred meters, Li Changkong and others saw a yellow soil playground, which was the campus of the Jiang Gang. The school field is about the size of a football field, and in front of it is a martial arts performance platform that is over 1 meter high. The entire body is made of black steel rock, which can withstand the power of 9th-grade warriors without breaking. At this moment, a man with a white face and slender eyebrows was standing on the high platform. He was dressed in a blue-black seahorse embroidered military uniform, with a black crown on his head, a jade belt around his waist, and soaked boots on his feet. He carried his hands behind his back and looked at the incense altar below with a faint expression, on which a stick of incense was quietly burning. This person is the instructor of the Jiang Gang, Su Xiu, a 9th-grade practitioner of blood realm martial arts. Li Changkong and others walked to the front of the high platform and stood there. They were the last group to arrive, and at this time, there were about 300 preparatory gang members standing on the campus. At this point, the incense in the incense altar was also completely burned. Silence. Looking at the noisy scene below, Su Xiumei frowned and shouted in a low voice. The voice was not loud, but it clearly reached the ears of Li Changkong at the end of the team. Start nodding. Seeing everyone quiet down, Su Xiu nodded to a member of the Jiang Gang wearing blue clothes next to him. Zhou Pingyan. Arrive. Li Gulu. Arrive. Not long after, Jianmao ended and no one was absent. Practice wave fold fist with me. Under the gaze of everyone, Su Xiu walked to the center of the martial arts performance platform and opened his stance. The first equation, the storm rises. Not daring to neglect, Li Changkong carefully observed Su Xiu's movements and imitated them. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Start Simulation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Start Simulation. In the center of the arena, Su Xiuru was tossing and frolicking with a flexible black swift. Although he intentionally slowed down his movements, it did not affect his crisp and sharp movements. Each move has a certain degree of relaxation and ease, making it look extremely charming and aesthetically pleasing. From the perspective of martial arts, fast is easy to hit, slow is difficult. Su Xiu has such exquisite martial arts skills, no wonder he was selected as the martial arts instructor of the Great Jiang Gang. At this moment, Changkong was at a considerable distance from the high platform, but due to his good eyesight, he could still see Su Xiu's movements more clearly. The positions in the school field are arranged according to strength, and those with strong strength can stand in front and see Su Xiu's movements more clearly, resulting in better teaching effectiveness. As the weakest person in the dormitory, Changkong can only rank last. It's not that his predecessor had a lazy personality and didn't study hard, on the contrary, he can be said to be one of the most diligent people present. The reason for this is that Changkong's physical fitness did not meet the recruitment standards of the Great Jiang Gang. He came through connections and his physical fitness can be said to be the worst among all the current preparatory gang members. Changkong's uncle once saved the life of a warrior from the Great Jiang Gang many years ago. Later, this warrior broke through the 9th rank and became a small leader. Because my uncle himself has no offspring, he originally intended to use this favor to ask this warrior for a sum of money to enjoy his later years. But he saw that Changkong's life without a father or mother was extremely difficult, so he moved with compassion and used this precious favor on his nephew, sending him to the Great Jiang Gang. I am not a fool myself, and after entering, I also tried to get closer to the warrior. But human calculation is not as good as divine calculation. Soon after, there was a conflict between the Great Jiang Gang and the New Jiao Gang, and the warrior also died in this conflict. Therefore, Changkong, who had poor personal strength and no background, became the lowest level of the preparatory gang members and suffered from bullying. With just one stick of incense, Su Xiu had already completed a set of wave-folding punches. He slowly regained his momentum, his face not red, his breath not panting, and his expression remained unchanged. Looking around, there were very few people like him on the entire playground, and most of them were flushed with sweat. At this point, Changkong's face was already pale, his lips had no blood color, and his chest was as uncomfortable as a needle prick. Changkong knew that this was a sign of physical weakness. As a famous martial arts technique of the Great Jiang Gang in Jiangzhou, Langdue fist is known for its continuous attacks. After the attack, it spreads like waves on the Jiang River, until it overwhelms the enemy. Therefore, this boxing technique has a remarkable effect on the physical exercise of users, which is also one of the reasons why the Great Jiang Gang uses it as an introductory boxing technique for disciples to practice. After breathing for a while, Changkong heard the sound of a distant horn playing for sex. A hint of joy appeared in his eyes, and he quickly looked in the direction of the sound. At this moment, the other people on the school field also heard the sound and coincidentally stretched their necks, looking like giraffes one by one, appearing somewhat comical. Not long after, in the eager eyes of everyone, a group of people shouted slogans and walked over carrying several large wooden barrels. Dong dong. A dull landing sound sounded. Zhuang Ti Tang, here it is. Amidst the shouting of the leader, everyone formed a long line, but unfortunately, Changkong still ranked last. As the team continued to shorten, Changkong's heart also jumped faster and faster. The moment of determining fate is coming. Watching the last person in front already carrying the ocean bowl back into the queue. Changkong took a deep breath and walked forward. He took the strong body soup handed by the cook, and then, drank it all in one gulp. Shocked everyone. The crowd behind Changkong exploded like water pouring into a boiling oil pot. Some people who already understood the truth looked at Hong Zhongyuan with gloating eyes. The Jiang Gang does not stipulate that members of the gang must drink the body-strengthening soup on the spot. As long as you do not take it out of your residence and sell it to others, whether you give it as a gift or sell it to others depends on personal choice, and the Jiang Gang does not care. Under such lenient conditions, the strongest in each dormitory are showing their skills without any teachers, exploiting the strong body soup of others in their own dormitory. This undoubtedly exacerbates conflicts among members, and there have been some members of the previous gang who were overthrown due to excessive coercion. The Jiang Gang is well aware of this, but they did not stop it. On the contrary, this is exactly what they are willing to see, because the Jiang Gang wants a pack of wolves, not a pack of sheep. To put it bluntly, the fierce competition has already begun since Changkong and his team first entered. It is not an exaggeration to say that from this moment on, Changkong faced not only Yuan, but also the strongest in the other dormitories who saw him as a thorn in the eye, because he had set a precedent for rebellion. But so what? Changkong's thick eyebrows were slashed like double swords, and he laughed contemptuously. His favorite thing to do is to say no to these petty people. In the crowd, Yuan's face was as gloomy as black charcoal as he felt the strange gazes casting around him. How dare he? How dare this cowardly coward? Yuan wished he could immediately tear Changkong apart on the spot. With so many people present, only Changkong chose to resist. Does this not mean that Yuan's methods are not as clever as those of others? For Yuan, who has always held himself high, this is simply a great shame. He decided to break Changkong's bones inch by inch in front of everyone present during today's sparring, and regain his dignity. Under the curious, admiring, and sarcastic gaze of the whole audience, Changkong walked back to his position with ease. As he passed by Yuan, he even stopped and let out a long hiccup, then proudly raised an eyebrow at him. Yuan's cheeks suddenly clenched, and the person next to him could even hear the sound of grinding his teeth clearly. He fixed his gaze on the front, as if the strange gazes of those around him were completely absent. There's nothing to care about, it's just a jumping clown, he can easily crush it to death. He tried to put on a calm and composed demeanor, but from his tightly clenched hands, it was evident that he was not as calm as he appeared. Returning to the queue, Changkong's eyes were calm as water, and the medicinal soup in his abdomen was like a flame, burning his face hot. Without hesitation, Changkong called out from the system panel and watched as it began to simulate the 120 to 100 behind. His hanging heart finally let go. Immediately, there was a hint of determination in Changkong's eyes, whether it was death or life, it all depended on this experience. His mind twitched. Simulation. Start. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. No Overnight Revenge. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. No Overnight Revenge Simulation begins. In April of the third year of the Zhenxiang reign of the Great Yi Dynasty, in Jiangzhou, the Great Jiang Gang drank the body-strengthening soup on the school field, which angered Yuan. You cannot refuse their challenge to you, you were caught and beaten, with no one supporting you. Fortunately, you surrendered quickly and your injuries were not serious. You only lay in bed for a week. After his injury improved, Yuan once again challenged you for a fight, but you suffered another disastrous defeat and lay in bed for another week. In this cycle, you cannot practice. In May of the third year of the reign of Emperor Zhenxiang, you lost 3 consecutive matches in the selection and assessment, unfortunately eliminated. You can't be without a ruler for a day, and a great man cannot be without a father for a day. You have made up your mind to worship Li Fanjiang, the leader of the Jiang Gang, as your adoptive father. One of the prerequisites for becoming the adopted son of Li Fanjiang is to become a practitioner of blood martial arts, and you can start to devote yourself to cultivation. In May of the third year of the Zhenxiang reign, you entered the leading team and worked hard to cultivate. On May 10th, the third year of the reign of Emperor Zhenxiang, due to a lack of nutrition, your strength was insufficient and your progress was slow. You went out to breathe, you were ambushed from behind and hit with a stick, your consciousness is gradually disappearing as you lay dying, you heard someone whispering, vertical son, how dare you compete with me for my adoptive father. You're dead at the end of the simulation, you can choose one of the following rewards as the simulation reward. Option 1. Obtain talent, optional. Option 2. Obtain elemental strength. Option 3. Gain insights. Chow. Li Changkong widened his eyes and his small head was filled with confusion. What is the reason for this? Is this world so dark? Can't even worship my adoptive father together. We can be good brothers together, I don't mind. Suppressing the desire to curse, Li Changkong looked at 3 options. Talent and insight are easy to understand. What is this elemental power? Li Changkong is a bit confused. This option is crucial for him, as life or death depends entirely on this experience, so he realized that he was the first to be excluded by Li Changkong. At first glance, this option is meant to increase the experience of martial arts cultivation. Although a high level of martial arts can lead to 1,000 pounds, the prerequisite is that you have those 4 liang first. The only consequence of Li Changkong choosing this was being slapped on the wall by Hong Zong Yuan and unable to remove it. Yuanli looks a bit like something that increases cultivation. Li Changkong was not quite sure, but after weighing his options, he ultimately chose talent. Without him, the option behind his talent made him determined. In any game, there is a 99% chance that rare things are good, and the remaining 0.1% is due to improper dog planning. Extracting, you have obtained the white talent. Iron bone, note. Talent levels are white, blue, purple, gold, and red, iron bone, white. Bone density increases by 3 times. Nice. Li Changkong's face lit up with joy. With this talent, his resistance and fighting ability undoubtedly improved significantly. Although he may not be able to defeat Hong Zong Yuan, it was impossible for him to lie in bed for a week. Suddenly, a stream of heat emerged from within Li Changkong's body, flowing through his muscles and into his bones. Immediately, his bones quickly became thick and robust like congested sponge bodies. Li Changkong narrowed his eyes comfortably, and soon the heat flow disappeared. Li Changkong opened his eyes, feeling somewhat lost. He clenched his fist and found that all the fatigue caused by exercise had disappeared from his body. Not only that, he felt that his strength had also increased significantly, which made him feel even more confident. In that case, defeating Hong Zong Yuan is not an impossible thing. Li Changkong looked at Hong Zong Yuan at the forefront of the team, with a hopeful smile on his lips. The team disbanded, and everyone walked towards the cafeteria in groups of 3 or 5 carrying strong body soup. Ignoring the others, Hong Zong Yuan walked forward with a dark face. Li Changkong walked slowly at the end. Although everyone was very curious about him, no one came forward to talk to him, afraid of being implicated by him. Jin Wu sank to the west, and in the blink of an eye, time arrived in the afternoon. The final practice is over, and the sparring time begins. After a day of exercise, Li Changkong clearly felt the difference in his body. In the past, he was like a rundown second-hand old car, with only the horn not sounding everywhere. And now, he feels like a fully fueled sports car, with endless energy all over his body, and even feels like he has extra energy to do another round of exercise. Suddenly, a gaze pierced straight at him like 2 long spears. Li Changkong looked up and Hong Zong Yuan, who was not far away, grinned and raised his left hand, arrogantly gesturing to him in a throat-cutting position. "Coach, I am applying to practice with Li Changkong," Hong Zong Yuan said to Su Xiu word by word. Su Xiu frowned upon hearing the words. "The difference in strength between you and him is too great, and it won't have any good effect on training." "It's okay, no one else is willing to practice with Li Changkong today except for me, do you think so, Zhou Liang?" Speaking, Hong Zong Yuan gave Zhou Liang a fierce smile. "Yes, Yes, I'm a bit uncomfortable today. Zhou Liang's face turned pale and he quickly covered his stomach, pretending to be uncomfortable. He was Li Changkong's previous companion trainer, and his martial arts level was at the bottom of the competition, which was just stronger than Li Changkong. Naturally, he dared not go against Hong Zongyuan's wishes. Su Xiu was speechless and had to arrange for Hong Zongyuan and Li Changkong to practice against each other. However, he stood not far away intentionally or unintentionally, clearly with the idea of stopping if something was wrong. Hong Zongyuan and Li Changkong looked at each other and saluted. "You're dead set." Hong Zongyuan's mouth opened and closed silently. Immediately, he made a movement and rushed forward at a speed that was seriously out of line with his body shape. In the blink of an eye, the strong wind has arrived and people have pounced on their faces. Hong Zongyuan's tall figure was like a mountain, trying to engulf the thin and small Li Changkong. He raised his right hand high and swung it down from top to bottom like a mountain axe. Li Changkong's pupils contracted. So fast. However, he did not retreat. Instead, he raised his left hand one grit higher, but his arm was too slender compared to Hong Zongyuan, looking like a praying mantis in a chariot. That's stupid. His arms will be easily broken like firewood. People around couldn't bear to look directly at this scene. Su Xiu also shook his head. If Li Changkong chose the pirate-style gameplay of wandering and dodging, he still had a chance to save him. He cannot guarantee to stop the battle without causing serious harm to Li Changkong through such tough and close combat. In front of everyone, Li Changkong's slender arms and Hong Zongyuan's thick arms were chopped together like swords and axes. The smile on Hong Zongyuan's face had not yet disappeared, but it turned into pain. How could it be so hard? The imagined scene of Li Changkong's arm being broken by a blow did not occur, but rather Hong Zongyuan's right hand was hurt by the reaction force as he exerted all his strength. Hong Zongyuan's movements also became stagnant as a result. Opportunity. Li Changkong's eyes lit up. He reached out with both hands and seized Hong Zongyuan's right hand. Then, with a forceful thrust on both legs, the whole person rose into the air like a light rabbit. His two legs passed through Hong Zongyuan's armpits and shoulders respectively, and then he used all his strength to move backwards. Hong Zongyuan fell straight down like a wooden stake. Flying wrist cross-fixation. After landing, Li Changkong did not hesitate at all. His hips straightened and he fell backwards, like a taut bowstring. Then, only a crisp clicking sound was heard. Hong Zongyuan's elbow joint bent into a tartly curved curve. His hand, it's broken. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Response from all parties. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Response from all parties. Li Changkong's movements were like flowing clouds and flowing water. Hurry up. Too fast. Between the rise and fall of the rabbit, the battle had already ended, and Hong Zongyuan suffered a disastrous defeat. How could it be possible? What move is this? The trainees stopped their movements one after another, their faces full of excitement. They never expected that the loser would be Hong Zongyuan, who looked incredibly strong and fragile. He was defeated by Li Changkong with just one move. Moreover, they have never seen the technology used by Li Changkong before, and they involuntarily put it into Hong Zongyuan's perspective. If I were Hong Zongyuan, what would happen now? The answer is self-evident. They all looked at Li Changkong with shocked and skeptical eyes. Without him, Li Changkong looks too deceptive, and the difference in body size between him and Hong Zongyuan is also too great. Taking a chestnut as an example, it's like one day when you wake up early in the morning and suddenly see the news that says, shocked, the powerful man was beaten by Guo Xiaoxi in the street. Your first reaction was also disbelief. Exciting. Su Xiu was first surprised, then a hint of admiration appeared on her face. Winning by defeating the strong with the weak is an admirable thing in any era. Li Changkong released Hong Zongyuan's right hand with a faint expression and slowly stood up. After he gained his iron bone talent, he began to conceive how to defeat Hong Zongyuan. The strategy he came up with was the flying wrist cross-fixation. This move was something he learned from watching UFC in his past life. At that time, he thought this technology was very cool and even searched for videos to learn more. From a practical perspective, whether in terms of strength or skill, he is not as good as Hong Zongyuan. If he uses the Landue fist to fight against Hong Zongyuan, it is undoubtedly to attack his strengths with his own shortcomings. On the contrary, as a technique of using weakness to overcome strength, as long as the movements are formed, the opponent will only have one path to defeat. Moreover, as a technique from another world, Jiu-Jitsu was impossible for Hong Zongyuan to come into contact with, so Li Changkong was almost 100% certain that Hong Zongyuan had never seen such a technique. So even though Li Changkong had never practiced this technology, he still chose it. His reliance is on his newly acquired iron bone talent. With a threefold increase in bone density, his ability to resist attacks has greatly increased, giving him ample tolerance. Even if his actions fail, Li Changkong has plenty of room to brainstorm other strategies for dealing with the enemy. Therefore, his use of jiu-jitsu against the enemy was unexpected, and Hong Zongyuan was caught off guard. Looking at Li Changkong's calm face, the onlookers all felt a chill in their hearts, realizing that this person should not be easily provoked. Without him, Li Changkong's expression was too ordinary, as if what he had just broken was not a person's arm, but a branch of a tree next to the road. Li Changkong looked around, and most of the people passing by avoided each other, with only a very small number of people feeling comfortable. All of these people were the strongest in their respective dormitories. For a moment, a needle fell in the middle of the school field, and only Hong Zongyuan lay on the ground tightly holding his arm, groaning in pain. Su Xiu summoned a gang member standing guard next to him and asked him to invite a doctor to come over. Then, he shouted loudly at the onlookers. "What are you looking at? If you don't focus on practicing martial arts, how can you become a great weapon?" Back then, even if someone told me that Kwangshan was going to collapse, I had to finish practicing martial arts first. Damn it! Damn it! Lying on the ground, Hong Zongyuan's heart was now intertwined with regret. I regret that I shouldn't be so arrogant. If he were to hit steadily, even if Li Changkong's bones were hard, he wouldn't be able to break his arm. What I hate is that Li Changkong acted so harshly, directly breaking his arm. Without a single hand, he undoubtedly announced his elimination in advance. Soon, the doctor arrived at the campus and urgently treated Hong Zongyuan's arm, securing it. Then, he summoned two people to put Hong Zongyuan on a stretcher and lift him out of the campus. Lying on the stretcher, Hong Zongyuan felt the sarcastic gaze from all directions. With great face, he felt ashamed and angry, so he simply rolled his eyes and pretended to faint. Before leaving the campus, Hong Zongyuan opened his eyes and gave Li Changkong a resentful glance at his back. "Wait. I absolutely want you to die." Li Changkong only felt a chill on his back. Looking back, he could only see the doctor's distant departure. In fact, if possible, Li Changkong would be more willing to eradicate the root cause. But breaking one arm of Hong Zongyuan can be used as an excuse for accidentally not stopping his hand. If he were to kill him directly, it would undoubtedly challenge the authority of the Jiang Gang. Li Changkong would not do such a foolish thing, and he did not want to exchange his life with Hong Zongyuan. But it doesn't matter, it's just a matter of time. When he becomes an 8th grade or 7th grade warrior, will the Jiang Gang still choose to turn against him because of a Hong Zongyuan? Even if the senior executives of the Jiang Gang are really foolish, it's not a big deal. Let's level it together. Li Changkong has the confidence to achieve this. Entering this world, Li Changkong deeply realized that only strength is the foundation of himself. If he is strong enough, he can do whatever he wants. Li Changkong stood behind in a state of boredom, his thoughts gradually drifting away, quietly waiting for the other people on the school field to finish their practice. In the front section of the school field, two figures stood face to face, with only one hand away from each other. The two used their wave-fold fist to concentrate and hit quickly in this narrow area, demonstrating excellent control and impressive skills. Both of them were wearing blue reserve uniforms, while the person on the left had long black hair tied into a neat ponytail, revealing a smooth and fair forehead. Under the willow eyebrows, a pair of peach blossom eyes were affectionate, with a face like a crown and lips painted with vermilion. This person's name is Chu Lin, and he is recognized as the strongest among the reserve gang members in this batch. It is worth mentioning that due to being too promiscuous, Hong Zongyuan challenged him once when he first came in, but was easily beaten to the ground with no fighting power. The other person has sharp short hair, a dark complexion, and an ordinary appearance. However, due to its upright figure, wide shoulders and slender waist, it also looks quite extraordinary. This person's name is Jiangzhou, and his strength is second only to Chu Lin. He had no prior exposure to martial arts before joining the Great Jiang Gang, and within just 2 months, he advanced to become the first person under Chu Lin. Although he couldn't do without Chu Lin's help, it was also a testament to his extraordinary talent. The two of them shared the same dormitory and became friends at first sight. "How do you think our new companion's level is?" Chu Lin asked in a low voice with great interest. Speaking, the hand movements did not stop. His left hand was whipped towards Jiangzhou's eyes like a long whip, while his right foot quietly slipped out and tripped towards Jiangzhou. "General." Jiangzhou couldn't resist the simultaneous attacks of both up and down, but after thinking for a moment, he emphasized it again. "Very average." End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Crisis reaches again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Crisis reaches again. Oh. What do you say? Chu Lin asked with great interest. His moves were just unexpected. Hong Zongyuan was too confident in his brute force. As long as he played steadily, he wouldn't lose so badly. Jiangzhou's dark face flashed with a hint of disapproval. As he spoke, he paused for a moment and said, "If I were Li Changkong's opponent, all I needed to do was control the distance between him and him, walk at a touch. His pace was slow, and his martial arts were not yet beginners, but he was just a live target. Winning him was just as easy as a palm." "You're right." Chu Lin chuckled lightly. "But didn't you notice that Hong Zongyuan's right hand paused after colliding with Li Changkong? Our new companion's bones are very hard." "So what? No matter how hard the bone is, it's useless not to touch anyone. Cultivating strength but not skills is ultimately just falling behind. Chu Lin, your gaze should not be on such mediocrity. Your opponent should be those geniuses in Jiangzhou city." Jiangzhou looked at Chu Lin and said solemnly. At the same time, he punched out, quickly retracting after being blocked by Chu Lin, and then shot again at Chu Lin's smiling fair face. This punch was almost twice the speed of the previous one. The third move of wave stacking fist. Wave 1,000 stacks. At the critical moment, Chu Lin bent his waist backwards and hit Jiangzhou's fist off the side with his left hand. "It's so close. When it comes to genius, you're the one who impressed me. In just 2 months, you've already mastered the tricks of waves and stacks, and I can hardly stop your attack." Surprisingly blocking Jiangzhou's attack, Chu Lin couldn't conceal his surprised expression on his face. Compared to Jiangzhou, Li Changkong does appear somewhat overshadowed. "Let's grow up again. You don't have the qualifications to let me take action now." Thinking of this, Chu Lin cast an interested gaze towards the back of the team. Li Changkong was completely unaware of everything that had happened earlier. Even if he knew, he didn't care. After the golden finger opened, his gaze was no longer focused on the lower third-level martial artists, but on the middle third level, even competing with the upper third level, those legendary immortal-like characters. The Jiang Gang, blood-killing Hull Courtyard. A sharp sound pierced through the sky. Who beat up my younger brother like this? Hong Xiuxiu's face turned pale as she looked at Hong Zongyuan lying on a stretcher, feeling extremely miserable. Her face was gloomy as water, and her silver teeth were almost bitten to pieces. Her phoenix eyes were filled with evil energy, causing the disciple next to her to break out in a cold sweat. Reply to madam. It was Mr. Hong who was injured while competing with other disciples on the school field. Not daring to neglect, the disciple quickly spoke up, afraid of becoming Hong Xiuxiu's punching bag. Who is it? What is his name? He has such a cruel heart. It was just an ordinary sparring, and he even broke my younger brother's arm. This person must be very arrogant and domineering, right? As for madam, this person's name is Changkong. Yes, it was Lord Hong who took the initiative to challenge him. The disciple lowered his head and his voice gradually became quieter as he spoke. Even if it was proposed by my younger brother, it must have been Li who did something outrageous. No way. Where is the master? I must let him make the decision for my younger brother. What's the noise? I heard you crying from a long distance, let others see my old song's joke. A man dressed in red pushed the door open and entered. He was about 7 feet and 6 inches tall, with a bronze face and a deep voice. His appearance is not particularly outstanding, except for a pair of fuller earlobes, almost twice the size of an ordinary person. This person is Song Yan, the leader of the blood-killing hall of the Jiang Gang, and an 8th-grade bone-quenching martial artist. At this moment, his eyebrows furrowed tightly, indicating that he was dissatisfied with Hong Xiuxiu's mischievous appearance just now. Old master, as soon as she saw Song Yan appear, Hong Xiuxiu's eyes almost immediately turned red, and her big eyes were filled with tears. She furrowed her brows and plunged into Song Yan's arms like a swallow in the woods. Master, look at my younger brother, what kind of person he has been beaten up to. I'm just such a little brother, you have to make decisions for him, woo woo woo. Hong Xiuxiu looked up in Song Yan's arms, with a pair of autumn-cut pupils staring pitifully at Song Yan. From a heart-to-heart perspective, Hong Xiuxiu is not a stunning beauty, but she has a unique charm that can arouse a man's desire for protection, especially between the sheets, which makes Song Yan unable to stop. She is Song Yan's favorite concubine during this period. Okay. Holding on to the slender shoulder of the person in his arms, Song Yan said with a headache. Your younger brother was defeated head-on in a martial arts competition, not plotted against. As the head of the blood-killing hall, how can I help you? I don't care, sir. My younger brother has been beaten up like this. I won't take it out on him. If my father Chuanxia knows, how should I go see him? No big deal, everything depends on you today. As she spoke, Hong Xiuxiu's face turned red and she buried her face deeply in Song Yan's arms. Upon hearing this, Song Yan's face showed a silver smile. Song Yan has a unique hobby of singing on the chrysanthemum stage, but Hong Xiuxiu never agreed to his request before, and he himself didn't like the feeling of being forced to sing, so he never succeeded. He chuckled and lowered his head to kiss Hong Xiuxiu's face, whispering. Why wait until evening? We can start now. That old man, what about my younger brother? No problem, the master will come up with a solution. After speaking, Song Yan picked up Hong Xiuxiu and walked towards the house. Oh, I hate you, sir. You're good or bad? The voice gradually faded away, and on the other side, Changkong was completely unaware of it. In the reserve courtyard, Changkong and his group had dinner and returned to their own courtyard. Ah! Changkong lazily lay down in Hong Zongyuan's position and let out a comfortable low sigh. Hong Zongyuan's bed is very spacious, and he occupies 3 people's seats alone. The others can only squeeze on the side and dare not cross the thunder pit at all. But now, there is no doubt that the surname of this position is Li, and the small quilt that was originally stolen by Hong Zongyuan has returned to Changkong's hands once again. This feeling is really good. The damp and moldy smell has disappeared, and the disgusting stench has also disappeared. Li Changkong squinted his eyes with some contentment. That. A voice rang out, and Li Changkong, who had been interrupted from his rest, opened his eyes in displeasure and looked towards the visitor. I saw everyone standing in a row in the dormitory, with Hong Zongyuan's henchman Lu Neng at the forefront. He watched as Li Changkong timidly shrank his neck and whispered. Li Changkong, how much do you need to hand over our body-strengthening soup to you? Oh. Li Changkong raised his eyebrows and unexpectedly gained something unexpected. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Re-simulation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Re-simulation. Yes, it's clear from Li Chang's hollow heart. He defeated Hong Zongyuan, and in the eyes of these people in front of him, it was only natural for Li Changkong to replace Hong Zongyuan's position. Looking at the group of people with anxious expressions in front of him, Li Changkong stretched lazily and said calmly. Then one person can hand in a bite. He is not Hong Zongyuan, he will personally take what he wants, and it is not his style to forcibly seize what others have for no reason. Of course, robbing those who are evil has no psychological burden on him. In his view, this is robbing the rich to help the poor, robbing the rich of these evil people to help his poor. But Li Changkong understands that some people will kick their noses and face. If they don't accept it at all, they will think he is weak and deceitful. Although he is not afraid, he also doesn't want to add extra trouble. Really? Great. Everyone was overjoyed, afraid that Li Changkong, like Hong Zongyuan, would open his mouth like a lion and demand half of the body-strengthening soup, so they would sit still and wax. Now Li Changkong only needs one mouthful. Compared with the people in other dormitories and Hong Zongyuan, it's like Conscience his mother opens the door to Conscience. They quickly took out their own gourds and approached to prepare to pour for Li Changkong, afraid that Li Changkong would turn back. But what about it? Upon hearing Li Changkong's words, everyone's movements paused in unison, and their hearts lifted up like a roller coaster ride. Lu Neng and Song Bing, you two strong body soup, will all be handed over to me in the future. The tense faces of the crowd instantly relaxed, leaving only Lu Neng and Song Bing with mournful faces, as if their parents had died. Li Gu, Li Yi, please, just show us your respect and let us go. The two of them earnestly pleaded. Li Changkong didn't even lift his eyelids and said. You two used to follow Hong Zongyuan and bullied me a lot, didn't you? I just want your strong body soup now, isn't it too much? Or do you want to be like Hong Zongyuan? Upon hearing this, Lu Neng and Song Bing's faces turned pale as death. They gave up their luck and handed over the gourd in their hands. The light red medicinal soup flows out like a red thread from the mouth of a gourd, pouring into the porcelain bowl on the table, rippling in circles and emitting a refreshing fragrance. In addition to the two bowls of Lu Neng and Song Bing, everyone else's combined contribution of zhuang ti tang is surprisingly more than one bowl. Very good. Li Changkong nodded with satisfaction. A bowl of strong body soup can increase the simulation progress by 30%. 3 bowls are 90% progress, plus the remaining 20% progress. Li Changkong can immediately start the next simulation. Plus this upcoming one, I have at least 4 more opportunities to start the simulation. As his thoughts spun, Li Changkong swallowed the strong body soup in front of him one by one. The cold liquid slid down the throat and directly into the abdomen. As if swallowing a thread of fire into his stomach, Li Changkong's face immediately turned red as if he had been drunk. He looked up and took a breath of hot air, and a white mist sprayed out from his mouth, emitting into the air. In the blink of an eye, tiny sweat spots appeared on Li Changkong's forehead. Great! Li Changkong's eyes lit up slightly, and the little drowsiness he had just experienced disappeared at this moment. This cow dare not drink like this. Everyone looked at Li Changkong, who had consumed all the strong body soup, and his mouth couldn't close in shock. In the past, They used to drink the body-strengthening soup in batches, and they didn't dare to drink too much at once, fearing that their bodies would not be replenished due to weakness. Even Hong Zongyuan, who was as strong as a black bear, only dared to drink a bowl each morning and evening. Unlike Li Changkong, who is as relaxed and happy as drinking water, coupled with the bowl of body-strengthening soup he drank in the school field, Li Changkong drank 4 bowls of body-strengthening soup today, twice as much as Hong Zongyuan. And looking at Li Changkong's still unsatisfied expression, he was afraid he could drink even 4 more bowls. The system, Li Chang's hollow mind moved. A curtain of light that only he could see unfolded before his eyes. Yitzi Life Simulation System Name. Li Changkong Talent. Iron Bone, White, Yuanli. None Reflection. None Realm. No Inflow Martial Arts. None Simulation. 115 out of 100. Oh, my realm has changed unexpectedly. Li Changkong was surprised to find that his realm in the system had changed from non-existent to non-mainstream. So, is my original strength so weak that the system is unwilling to evaluate me? I don't know how many more simulations are needed to break through the 9th level warrior. Li Changkong thought, and his mind immediately moved. Start simulation. In April of the 3rd year of the Zhenxiang reign, you defeated Hong Zongyuan in the school field and broke his arm. The injured Hong Zongyuan harbored a grudge in his heart. He secretly bribed Jiangzhou in May of the 3rd year of the Zhenxiang. Jiangzhou injured you during the selection and assessment. You are unable to participate in the next battle and have abstained in 2 consecutive matches. You have entered the leading team. You feel the pain of having no support. You have decided to worship Li Fanjiang, the leader of the Great Jiang Gang, as your adoptive father. The prerequisite for becoming Li Fanjiang's adopted son is to become a 9th grade blood martial artist, and you will work hard to cultivate. In May of the 3rd year of the Zhenxiang reign, you entered the leading team and worked hard to cultivate. On June 3rd, the 3rd year of the Zhenxiang reign of the Great Yi Dynasty, you comprehended a trace of the essence of Langdi fist. Your wave-folding fist is now beginner's level. On June 8, the 3rd year of the Zhenxiang reign of the Great Yi Dynasty, you encountered a bottleneck in your cultivation and went out to breathe. You were hit with a stick from behind. Your consciousness is gradually disappearing. As you lay dying, you heard someone whispering, "Vertical son, how dare you compete with me for my adoptive father? You're dead." At the end of the simulation, you can choose one of the following rewards as the simulation reward. Option 1. Obtain talent, not optional. Option 2. Obtain elemental strength. Option 3. Gain insights. Chow. What kind of thief is this? Li Changkong's eyes were about to burst into flames. This was the 2nd time, although it was just a simulation, it could also be said to be the real future, which means that Li Changkong had already been killed twice by this person. But can't even my iron bones stop him from hitting him? A hint of contemplation flashed on Li Changkong's face, and as a result, his target immediately shrank significantly. He was likely among the leading team and was about to break through the 9th level, even being a 9th level blood realm martial artist. Don't let me find you. Li Changkong made 2 fierce notes in his inner notebook. He swore that if he found this thief, he would definitely let him know why the flowers were so red. But who is this Jiangzhou? Li Changkong was somewhat puzzled. His predecessor was quite isolated, and apart from the people in his own dormitory, he knew only a few people in the other dormitories. I don't know where I offended this person and made him target him like this. But no matter who you are, after I simulate 4 times, you will be crushed to pieces by me. Li Changkong confidently thought that the people who cheat are so fearless. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Adding points. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Adding points. Li Changkong pondered for a while and gave up the 3rd insight. He guessed that this reward should help him learn martial arts. The martial arts he is currently learning is Wave Fold Fist, and after these few days of learning, he feels that he is almost getting started. In terms of learning ability, after more than a decade of education, he is undoubtedly much stronger than the world where he has not even known a few big characters. Therefore, realizing that this is not a necessity for him at present, and he does not yet know the role of elemental strength. It is better to choose elemental strength first this time. Anyway, he can still get 3 simulation opportunities before the selection and assessment, so there is room for trial and error. Select the second item. Li Changkong's mind moved, and the data on the system panel also changed accordingly. The Yoshiko Life Simulation System, name. Li Changkong, talent. Iron Bone, white, Yuan Li, 1, reflection. None, realm. Not entering the current, martial arts. None, simulation. 15 out of 100, the function of this elemental power is to upgrade talents and levels. Li Changkong was overjoyed. Is this the feeling of opening the app? How refreshing. No wonder those people in their past lives would rather not have their parents than cheat. Wait a minute, can I just curse myself in here? Li Changkong had a strange expression on his face. He had also been an orphan in his lifetime, with only one cousin still alive. Pooh, what kind of cheating? I rely entirely on my own efforts and struggles. This is what the famous Lu Xing Beast said, and Li Changkong deeply believed it. His favorite quote from Lu Xing Beast is, "My strength all comes from my talent and hard work, system, and extra points." Li Changkong has devoted his elemental strength to the realm, and now his most important thing is to become a 9th grade warrior as soon as possible. The resistance brought by iron bones is already sufficient, so he can temporarily put it aside. A slight flicker behind the elemental force turned into a cluster of light dots, blending into the realm. Later, Li Changkong noticed that the 3 words, not entering the flow, behind the realm had become slightly brighter. At the same time, Li Changkong felt an invisible gas emerging from the surrounding environment, continuously merging into his body. This gas is like a cool morning breeze, or like a thin mist in the mountains. Runwu silently entered his body, blending with his qi and blood. Subsequently, Li Changkong felt that his energy and blood were like a sister with a chest cushion, visibly growing stronger. Li Changkong felt something about himself. If his original qi and blood were equivalent to a small pouch egg, then now it is equivalent to an orange, which can be described as a qualitative change. When Li Changkong regained his senses, he found that everyone in the dormitory, except for Lu Nang and Song Bing, had already been tidied up. Everyone took off their clothes and lay on the bed with their eyes closed to sleep. In no time, the sound of tractors rang out in the dormitory. After a day of training, everyone was exhausted. In this era, the poor had no entertainment activities and only slept at night and did exercise. And there are all big men in the dormitory, so naturally there is no exercise to do. Even if someone has a special hobby, they feel embarrassed to do this in front of everyone. Are you guys not going to sleep? Li Changkong looked at the 2 of them in confusion. Lu Nang and Song Bing both showed a flattering smile on their faces. Mr. Li hasn't slept yet, how can we sleep? Look, we've prepared hot water for you, and the temperature is just right. How about we press your feet? You too, it's a waste of your talents not to serve Wan Sui Yi in the palace. Li Changkong raised his eyebrows, no wonder Hong Zongyuan's attitude towards these 2 people was much better than the others. It turned out that his licking skills were so outstanding. However, Li Changkong still has no good impression of the 2 of them. Without him, when the 2 of them tried to please Hong Zongyuan, they didn't hesitate to borrow flowers and offer them to the Buddha. He was responsible for all the trivial matters, and the benefits fell entirely on the 2 of them. Even if they didn't share a share of the pie with Li Changkong, it would be fine. Their attitude towards Li Changkong was extremely poor. Do you want to please him now? It's too late. How could it be? Being able to serve Mr. Li is our lucky share. After speaking, Lu Nang and Song Bing will squat down and take off their shoes for Li Changkong. No need. Li Changkong waved his hand and refused the 2 of them. If 2 charming sisters came to help him press his feet, it wouldn't matter. Two rough men are nothing. Let the two go back to sleep. Li Changkong immersed his feet, which emitted a salty fish smell, into the wooden bucket. The water temperature in the bucket is kept just right, neither making people feel too hot nor feeling that the water temperature is not enough. What a wicked old social life. Li Changkong sighed somewhat. As a poor student in his past life, he had never enjoyed this treatment. The other animals in the dormitory only want to be his father and want them to fetch water and soak his feet. First, let's call out a few more times to see if you feel comfortable. Maybe I will help you get hot water, and I won't try to give you a good temperature so thoughtfully. But as the saying goes, 10 rough men are not worth a soft girl. Li Changkong heard that the little sister on Shirley Street in Jiangzhou City is good. If only two beautiful sisters could press my feet at this time, he thought, half lying in bed. No, 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 Li Changkong shook his head. If he continued to think like this, his heart would be shattered, but he couldn't. There was nothing to say overnight. Dang 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 dang. Since he joined the Jiang Gang, this is the first time he has slept until the gong rang. With sufficient rest, his physical condition has never been better, and he feels like he can kill a cow. Hey, where are my clothes? Li Chang reached out empty-handed to the side, but felt empty. Mr. Li, here you are. Your clothes are here. Li Changkong turned his head and saw Lu Nang and his companions standing by, one holding a blue reserve uniform and the other holding cloth shoes. Li Changkong reached out to take the clothes and found that they were not his own, but a brand new uniform. Li Changkong looked at the two with some confusion. Mr. Li, this is the new clothes we got up early in the morning and went to the miscellaneous store to buy for you. Please try them on and see if they fit well. We have already washed your previous clothes and hung them outside. You can wear them tomorrow. The attitude of Lu Neng and Song Bing remained so respectful, but their target changed from Hong Zongyuan to him. Li Changkong was also somewhat speechless in the face of their unparalleled licking skills. These two people are really talented. He, who has been a person of 2 generations, has never been licked like this before. It has to be said that this feeling is really enjoyable, especially when the person licking you is still the younger brother of your enemy. It is simply double the happiness. Sure enough, a person's spirit looks good in any outfit they wear. Look, this ordinary preparatory disciple uniform is more suitable for Li Ye's body than us. Song Bing, do you think so? That's because among the people of Mr. Li, there are dragons and phoenixes, which is naturally different from us ordinary people. Lu Neng and Song Bing sang in unison and spoke eloquently. Alright, stop playing tricks. Let's see how you behave. If you perform well, I can consider not pursuing your past offenses against me. Li Changkong stretched lazily and said lightly. Accept Hong Zongyuan's younger brother and let them serve him. Hong Zongyuan must be very excited when he sees the expression on his face, right? Thinking of this, Li Changkong was still a little excited. It was just a face. Face ntr. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Introduction to Wave Stacking Fist. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 9 Introduction to Wave Stacking Fist. Not only that. Li Changkong knew that with the level of these two people, unless they hit big luck, there was only one way to enter the leading team. So for the sake of licking themselves so hard, it's okay to spare them. Compared to Hong Zongyuan, Li Changkong has less hatred towards Lu Neng and Song Bing. Besides, with the two of them, Li Changkong can devote more energy to cultivation, and all he has put in is not to hold them accountable for their previous offenses. Letting go of Lu Neng and Song Bing was nothing more than raising his hand for Li Changkong, in exchange for their wholehearted service to him. Why not do something that benefits without cost? Mr. Li is grand, and the Prime Minister can hold a boat in his belly. Lu Neng and Song Bing were overjoyed. They were on edge all night and had nightmares of being broken by Li Changkong while sleeping. Now with Li Changkong's assurance, they can finally temporarily put their heart back into their belly. Everyone tidied up and walked towards the campus under the leadership of Li Changkong. This time, he was no longer the last place, and Li Changkong stood at the front without letting go. Looking around, those standing next to him were all the top performers in the entire school field. Li Changkong looked at Su Xiu on the martial arts stage, and as he got closer, he could even see the faint legal lines on Su Xiu's face. Li Changkong believes that today he will definitely be able to observe more details of Lang Daiquan on Su Xiu. He is waiting for the school venue to start. At that time, he naturally knew what kind of divine Jikang was when he defeated him in the simulation, causing him to enter the leading team again. By the way, in the simulation, Li Changkong was not systematic, so he was defeated in the selection and assessment with only one white talent, Iron Bone. The final simulation results also told Li Changkong that he could not defeat Jikang solely based on his Iron Bone talent. I don't know who is stronger compared to Jikang after adding some points now. Li Changkong thought this way, quietly waiting for the incense on the incense altar to burn out. Before long, in the corner of Li Changkong's eye, the red light on the incense altar beside him ignited to the end. The last few wisps of green smoke drifted into the air, reluctantly dispersed by the wind, leaving only a faint fragrance lingering on Li Changkong's nose. Jianmao. Under the expectant gaze of Li Changkong, Su Xiu spoke calmly. Bianzai. Arrive. Wang Quan. Arrive. Jikang. Arrive. Following the sound, Li Changkong's gaze locked on the second man in the fourth row to his right. It seemed like someone was staring at him, and Jikang turned his head. Their gaze intertwined. It's him, what is he watching me do? Jikang is a bit unclear about why. Jikang has never had much interest in people who are weaker than him, so he had no prior acquaintance with Li Changkong. It was only yesterday that Li Changkong decisively defeated Hong Zongyuan in front of everyone that he had an impression of the dwarf in front of him. After looking at each other for a few seconds, Li Changkong withdrew his gaze. I didn't say much, and from Jikang's perspective, it was even somewhat inexplicable. I hope you are more witty and not against me. The corner of Li Changkong's mouth curved a faint and imperceptible curve. Otherwise, I will have to repay him with his own way and send you to the vanguard. Langdue fist is the most powerful, so when using Langdue fist, you should pay attention to its strength. Seeing that everyone had arrived, Su Shila opened her fists and began to explain the key points of Langdi fist. Being too light will make the enemy easily get rid of it. If it is too heavy, it is easy to accelerate the loss of physical strength. As the first move of wave stacking fist, Storm Rises emphasizes stickiness and strength. As she spoke, Su Xiu raised her right hand and punched Xiangtai from afar. You see, I used sticky force with this punch. I saw a gust of fist wind rising from Su Xiu's fist. Under the gaze of everyone, this fist wind swept up the incense ash on the incense altar and flew forward for a distance. As it was about to run out of power, it unexpectedly generated a swirling force and flew back with the incense ash. Such skill. Everyone couldn't help but marvel at it. Li Changkong's eyes were full of brilliance, and he couldn't help but follow Su Xiu's movements and swing his fist forward. Nothing happened. Li Changkong remained unmoved and was attracted by the techniques showcased by Su Xiu. Perhaps every child growing up in the new century has a martial arts dream in their heart, and now, he is no longer far away from this dream. Don't worry, it's normal for you to not be able to type. As Su Xiu watched the crowd below constantly trying, a self-satisfied expression flashed across her face. Do you know how long I've been indulging in the technique of wave fold fist? 20 years. Isn't it within just 2 months that you can learn the martial arts of this fist in 20 years? At this point, Li Changkong had automatically ignored Su Xiu's words and was carefully recalling Su Xiu's recent skills. How can we generate such a turning force? Li Changkong couldn't help but recall in his previous life when he watched a video online, the great online billiards player hit a cue ball with one stroke, and the cue ball moved forward for a distance before automatically returning back. Later, Li Changkong learned about it, and there is a saying in billiards called high clockwise low counterclockwise. When you hit a high pole, the billiards ball will rotate clockwise, and when you hit a low pole, it will rotate counterclockwise. When the cue ball rotates counterclockwise for a certain distance, it will automatically go back, but this requires very advanced skills that most people cannot hit. Therefore, Li Chang fantasized that if he could apply a rotating force to a ball of qi and blood like a mother ball, he would be able to achieve Su Xiugang's superb technique. As soon as he thought of it, Li Changkong immediately began to try to distribute a portion of his qi and blood power, making it spin and hit like a cue ball. After trying, Li Changkong found that with the addition of elemental power, his ability to control his own qi and blood power was greatly improved, which can be described as using his hands and fingers. After trying more than 10 times, Li Changkong quickly mastered the method of turning the power of qi and blood. I saw him give a punch, and a much smaller fist wind flew out of his hand, rolling up some dust in front of him and spinning back a little bit imperceptibly. Success! Hee, I am indeed a genius. Li Changkong raised his eyebrows, feeling somewhat proud. At the same time, a beeping sound came to his mind as he opened the system panel to take a look. As expected, there are 3 additional words behind martial arts. Wave stacking fist. So, if you can learn it right away, then I can call you Shir instead. Su Xiu saw Li Changkong constantly trying in the audience, and her tongue began to knot. Oh my goodness! What did he see? Su Xiu couldn't believe his own eyes. His eyes instantly widened like cows, almost falling out of their sockets. After teaching martial arts in Dajiang for so many years, what scenes have he never seen before? But he really hasn't seen this scene today. Surprisingly, someone is such a talented and unrestrained genius. Just a glance at the stickiness of his performance taught him. He was instantly excited and didn't even practice his boxing. Directly rushed from the martial arts stage to Li Changkong. He grabbed Li Changkong's fist and exclaimed excitedly. You've learned, haven't you? Come on, try again and show me. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Performance, for follow.up reading. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Performance, for follow.up reading. Su Xiu's surprise is not unreasonable. As the basic martial arts of the Jiang Gang, Landi Fist has been practiced by at least 1,000 people from all over the gang. Among them, there are very few people who have developed stickiness, and most of them are 8th grade martial artists. Among the 9th grade martial artists, there are very few who have developed sticky strength, while those who have not entered the mainstream martial arts have not achieved any. This is mainly because strength is the exclusive symbol of 8th grade bone-quenching realm warriors. A 9th grade martial artist exercises their own qi and blood power, and imitating the power of qi and blood naturally increases the difficulty. Although the stickiness produced by practicing Landue Fist only contains a small amount of strength, it is also very amazing. This represents that Li Changkong himself has a natural talent for strength. And through the use of sticky force, he became familiar with the force in advance, and his chances of breaking through the 8th level bone-quenching realm are definitely much higher than others. This surprised Su Xiu, who had been hovering in the 9th grade realm for nearly a decade. So he, who has always emphasized the importance of completing martial arts before Guangshan collapses, rarely broke his own rules this time. Just to prove that Li Changkong's success is not accidental. Li Changkong looked at Su Xiu, who suddenly appeared in front of him, and was startled. Just now, he was very focused on practicing his stickiness and didn't even notice what Su Xiu said on stage. Quick! Show me now! Su Xiu's face was full of enthusiasm as he urged, staring at Li Changkong like a rare treasure, tightening his gaze on the chrysanthemum. Sleeping trough, this guy can't be from Nantong, can he? Li Changkong was a bit panicked and tried to pull his hand out of Su Xiu's hand. But Su Xiu's tiger's mouth was like a big pair of pliers firmly biting onto his wrist, and he couldn't shake a single bit. "Professor Su, if you have something to say, you have to put down my hand first if you want to see anything." Su Xiu just came to his senses. He was too excited just now. "Release Li Changkong's arm," he urged. "It's the stickiness you just used. Come on, show me again." At this moment, everyone present was somewhat puzzled. They didn't understand why Su Xiu was so excited, even ignoring his teaching career, which he had always valued the most. They all looked at the two with strange and exploratory eyes. For a moment, Li Changkong became the focus of the audience. Okay, Li Changkong breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this. As long as it wasn't for my health, everything else was easy to say. He just put on a posture and hasn't waited for him to take any action yet. Wait a moment, you go perform on the martial arts stage. Su Xiu signaled and then looked at Li Changkong with expectant eyes. Without any objection, Li Changkong looked at the high platform in front of him and hesitated for a moment. The black martial arts stage is about 1.2 meters tall, and Li Changkong's height is 6 feet 8 inches. 1 foot in the Great Yi Dynasty is approximately equivalent to 23 centimeters, which is equivalent to about 1.56 meters. However, after obtaining the iron bone talent and upgrading his qi and blood, Li Changkong found that he had grown quite a bit taller. Now his height is around 1.6 meters, although he is still relatively short, at least there is hope for him. And he's only 17 years old, as long as he can keep up with his nutrition, there's still room for growth. The short Li Changkong looked at the high platform and pondered for a moment, feeling that he couldn't jump up gracefully like Su Xiu. So he decided to take a quick detour up the stairs next to him. So the people at the school saw a young man in green walking along the high platform that reached his chest. "Pushi," someone below chuckled in a low voice, and soon burst into laughter on the campus. "Laugh your butt." Li Changkong's face remained unchanged, and if you continue to smile, are you still eagerly waiting below for the labor and management to perform on stage? His footsteps not only did not accelerate, but also intentionally slowed down a lot. "What are you laughing at? What's so funny about?" Su Xiu's face turned pale with iron. What was terrifying was not that her skills were inferior to those of others, but that she was shameless even though her skills were inferior. "Li Changkong has learned how to stick. Do any of you have someone like him? Do you think you are stronger than Li Changkong? Okay, anyone who thinks so can stand up and show me some stickiness. I can immediately recommend you to all the hall masters, so that you don't have to participate in the selection and trial to become official members." Who is there? The campus was suddenly silent, with only the angry voice of Su Xiu echoing in it. He actually mastered the stickiness. Jikong's pupils contracted and he took a cold breath, feeling a bit incredulous. Even though Li Changkong defeated Hong Zongyuan on the school field yesterday, he still didn't take Li Changkong seriously. But now Li Changkong has mastered the stickiness so quickly, which reminds him of what he said to Chu Lin yesterday. For a moment, Jikong only felt his face burning hot. In Day, learning a martial arts skill is mainly divided into 3 levels. They are beginner, proficient, and accomplished. Getting started is to have a preliminary understanding of the moves within a martial arts skill. Mastery means thoroughly understanding and proficiently applying these moves. Zhenxiang is the core method of cultivating martial arts skills that can be relied on to dominate the world. For example, the core techniques of Landue fist have 3 points, namely the sticky force caused by wind and waves, the rolling force caused by waves and clouds, and the stacking force caused by waves. Stick firmly to the enemy, making it impossible for them to stay away from oneself. Entwine the enemy with rolling force to prevent them from attacking themselves when pulled back by sticky force. Stacking strength to crush the enemy, continuously absorbing a portion of the enemy's strength during the enemy's counterattack and stacking it onto one's own fist. As time goes by, one's own boxing skills will become heavier and heavier, until they are completely crushed like a rushing river. It can be said that only by truly practicing these three strengths can Langdue fist unleash its true power. However, even without strength, the above 3 points can still be achieved through physical skills. Although less powerful, it is still an excellent boxing technique. Jikong's own Langdue fist has only reached a preliminary level of proficiency. Li Changkong, on the other hand, has already developed into one of the three powerful forces, and can be said to have taken half a step towards the pinnacle of wave-stacking fist. But so what? In terms of genius, how can you surpass Chu Lin? Only Jikong knows what kind of realm Chu Lin has reached. He is already a 9th-grade practitioner of blood realm martial arts, on par with Su Xiu, who is over 40 years old. And now Chu Lin is only 16 years old. As the beginning of martial arts, one cannot excessively cultivate qi and blood in the realm of blood cultivation before reaching the age of 16. People with poor conditions will choose to start exercising hard from a young age, striving to exceed the average person's qi and blood by the age of 16, and increase their cultivation speed. People with good conditions will start using gentle and precious medicines to warm and nourish their bodies from a young age, and by the age of 16, they will accumulate thick and thin hair, easily breaking through multiple obstacles. Legend has it that a few years ago, a heavenly pride appeared in the capital city of the Great Yi. At the age of 16, she broke through 6 levels and advanced to the 3rd level, shocking the world and becoming one of the strongest in the world. Li Changkong didn't know what the people below were thinking. He slowly swung out a wave of punches on the high platform. A storm arose. A counterclockwise rotating force of qi and blood flew out of Li Changkong's right fist and headed straight towards the incense altar ahead. Who? In the eyes of everyone, either expectant or disdainful. The fist wind lifted the incense ash above the incense altar. The incense ash flew out for a short distance, and as it was about to reach its limit, it clearly produced a small roundabout. Okay. Su Xiu cheered softly, and Li Changkong indeed mastered the stickiness. Faced with such a genius, he decided to use his recommendation power to directly recommend Li Changkong to several hall masters. He believes that with Li Changkong's talent, he will definitely receive rewards in the future. End of this chapter.